Nadia Cowrie stared through the viewport of the shuttle as it approached the massive space station known as Concordia. The structure gleamed like a silver lotus against the backdrop of stars, home to the Galactic Alliance's headquarters. After 15 years as a xenobiologist specializing in comparative alien physiologies, she never imagined becoming Earth's first representative to the Alliance. Nervous? Asked Captain Desmond Richards, piloting the small craft with practiced ease. Terrified, Nadia admitted, adjusting the collar of her formal blue uniform. Humanity's only been aware of alien life for 3 years, and suddenly I'm supposed to speak for all 8 billion of us. The docking procedure went smoothly, and when the airlock cycled open, Nadia was met by a slender being with luminescent skin that seemed to pulse with gentle blues and greens. Ellerin of the Lumidari inclined his head, his large eyes blinking vertically. Dr. Cowrie, welcome to Concordia. I am your liaison during the transition period. His voice was melodic, with perfect English despite the unusual structure of his throat. The induction ceremony begins in 2 hours. I will guide you to your quarters so you may prepare. As they walked through soaring corridors, Nadia noticed dozens of different species. Some floated in anti-gravity fields, others moved on multiple legs, and still others were encased in environmental suits. Despite her years studying xenobiology, the diversity was overwhelming. The Alliance consists of 38 spacefaring civilizations, Ellerin explained, seeming to sense her thoughts. Humans will be the 39th, though some members objected to your admission. Why? Nadia asked, though she suspected the answer. Your species is young. Only 10,000 years of civilization, and barely a century of advanced technology. Some believe you need more ... seasoning. They reached an imposing chamber with a high domed ceiling. Alliance members had gathered in concentric circles around a central platform. Ellerin guided her to a small antechamber. Wait here until summoned. And Dr. Cowrie? His skin rippled with what she recognized as concern. The Dravik delegation will be particularly challenging. They value strength above all else. The induction ceremony began with speeches in dozens of languages, all filtered through her translator implant. Finally, High Chancellor Myra, a tall insectoid being, announced, "We call forth the representative of Earth to stand before the Alliance and be recognized." Walking onto the platform, Nadia felt thousands of alien eyes upon her, standing straight. At 5'7", she appeared small compared to many delegates, but her calm demeanor betrayed none of her anxiety. Humanity stands ready to join the greater galactic community, she stated clearly. We bring our curiosity, our adaptability, and our desire for peaceful cooperation. A harsh laugh interrupted her. A massive reptilian being with crimson scales and multiple horns stepped forward. General Varax of the Dravik Imperium stood nearly 8 feet tall, his body covered in natural armor. This is what passes for an advanced species? He growled, circling her. Look at this soft creature. Humans have no natural defenses, no significant strength. They survived on their homeworld through luck, not merit. Nadia met his 4 yellow eyes without flinching. We survived through intelligence and cooperation, General. Qualities the Alliance supposedly values. Varax leaned closer, his breath hot against her face. The galaxy is not kind, human. Peace is a luxury of the strong. Your species will learn this lesson soon enough. As the ceremony concluded, Ellerin approached her, his skin now pulsing with admiration. You stood your ground impressively. He reminds me of bulldogs we had on Earth, Nadia replied with a small smile. All bark and intimidation? Ellerin's skin flickered with amusement. The Dravik are considerably more dangerous than your Earth. Canines, Dr. Cowrie. They've conquered 7 systems in the past century. Later, in her new laboratory, Nadia began organizing her research equipment. The technology provided by the Alliance was decades beyond Earth's capabilities. As she worked, Ellerin arrived with refreshments. "Thank you for your guidance today," she said, accepting a cup of something that smelled like cinnamon. "It is my pleasure," he replied, his skin shifting to a warm orange hue as their fingers briefly touched. "Perhaps tomorrow I could show you." "More of Concordia?" Nadia smiled, feeling an unexpected connection with the Lumidari diplomat. "I'd like that very much." Outside the window, stars glittered against the void, while in distant systems, Dravik warships began to move. Whispers of ancient design, 3 months into her position as Earth's representative, Nadia had established herself as a respected voice in the Alliance's scientific community. Her laboratory on Concordia's research level had become her sanctuary, a place where she could continue her xenobiological studies while fulfilling diplomatic duties. "Fascinating adaptation," she murmured, examining cellular samples from a newly discovered aquatic species. The door chimed, interrupting her work. "Enter," she called, looking up to see Tazkar, a Mavorian scientist whose 4 arms made him exceptionally dexterous with laboratory equipment. His blue-gray skin contrasted with intelligent amber eyes. "Dr. Kauri, I apologize for the intrusion," he said, all 4 hands clutching various data tablets. "But there's something you should see." The urgency in his voice caught her attention. Immediately, Tazkar secured the laboratory door and activated privacy protocols. "What I'm about to show you is not officially sanctioned research." He placed a small container on her desk. Inside was a metallic fragment covered in swirling patterns that seemed to shift as she looked at them. "What am I looking at?" Nadia asked, reaching for the object. "Wait." Tazkar caught her hand with one of his. "It responds to direct contact." "I suggest you prepare yourself first." "Prepare myself for what?" Tazkar's expression grew solemn. "This artifact was recovered from ruins on Proxima Centauri b in your solar system. The ruins date back approximately 3 million years, belonging to a civilization we call the Architects." 3 million years? That predates human civilization by everything, Tazkar finished. Yet, when I scanned the artifact, it contained information that appears specifically coded to human neurological patterns. Nadia stared at the fragment. "That's impossible. Unless humans were known to the Architects, or perhaps more than known." Tazkar hesitated. "The Alliance Council doesn't know about this discovery. If certain factions, particularly the Dravik, learned of it, they'd see it as a threat," Nadia concluded. "What happened when you touched it?" "Nothing. It seems calibrated specifically to human physiology." Taking a deep breath, Nadia reached for the fragment. The moment her fingers contacted the metal, images flooded her mind: complex genetic sequences, molecular structures, and engineering beyond anything humanity had conceived. She gasped, pulling away. "What did you see?" Tazkar asked anxiously. "DNA," she whispered. "Human DNA, but with sections highlighted, sections that appeared dormant in our current genome." She shook her head, trying to clear the lingering images. "It was like looking at a blueprint, but only parts of it have been ... activated." "As I suspected," Tazkar said. "I believe the Architects engineered the human species for specific purposes. You were designed." Later that evening, Nadia met Ellerin in the station's arboretum, a place designed to accommodate plant life from dozens of worlds. Their friendship had deepened over the months, evolving into something neither had named yet. "You seem troubled," Ellerin observed, his skin shifting to concerned purples. As a touch telepath, he was careful not to initiate contact without permission. "Just processing some unexpected research findings," she replied, not ready to share Tazkar's discovery. They walked among exotic flora, their shoulders occasionally brushing. Each brief contact sent a pleasant warmth through Nadia, as Ellerin's. Telepathic nature created unique connections, even through minimal touch. The Alliance consultation on military deployments is tomorrow, Ellerin said. General Vorax has requested expanded Dravik patrols near Earth's solar system. Nadia stopped walking. Why? Earth poses no threat to Dravik interests. Officially, it's to protect trade routes, Ellerin replied, his skin betraying his skepticism. Unofficially, many believe the Dravik are testing boundaries. Or preparing for something worse, Nadia said quietly. Ellerin's hand hesitantly reached for hers. May I? When she nodded, their fingers intertwined. The connection between them deepened instantly as his telepathic abilities created a gentle bond. Concern, affection, and something deeper flowed between them. Be careful, Nadia, he whispered. The Dravik see everything in terms of conquest and dominance. If they perceive humanity as a potential rival, they'll strike first, she finished, while we're still developing our interstellar capabilities. That night, Nadia couldn't sleep. The artifact's images continued flowing through her mind, particularly the dormant sections of human DNA. According to the visions, these sections contained capabilities beyond normal human limits, abilities that remained inactive but could be triggered under specific conditions. Her communication console chimed with a priority. Message from Tozker. Found more fragments. Come immediately. As she dressed, Nadia glanced at the stars visible through her viewport, wondering about humanity's true origins and the destiny encoded in their very cells. Whatever the architects had designed humans to be, she sensed they would soon discover it. Ready or not, first blood. The attack came without warning. Nadia was in a council session when emergency alerts blared throughout Concordia. The holographic display at the center of the chamber shifted to show Titan, Saturn's largest moon and home to humanity's most distant colony. Dravik warships surrounded the settlement domes, their weapons unleashing crimson destruction. The colony's minimal defenses collapsed within minutes. 7,000 human colonists and researchers had no chance to evacuate. This is an act of war, Earth's ambassador shouted, rising from his seat. The Titan colony was a scientific outpost with no military capabilities. General Vorax, representing the Dravik, remained seated, his reptilian features impassive. We received intelligence indicating weapons development occurring on Titan. The Dravik Imperium acted to neutralize a potential threat. Lies, the ambassador's face had gone pale with fury. There were families there, children. High Chancellor Mira called for order. We will dispatch an independent investigation team immediately. Until then, all Dravik and Earth vessels must maintain separation distances of at least 1 astronomical unit. As the council descended into chaos, Nadia slipped away to her laboratory, where Tozker waited. His normally blue-gray skin had paled to ash. Did you know? She demanded. Of course not. All 4 of his hands moved in agitation. But I fear our discovery may be connected. The timing is too convenient. Nadia activated her secure terminal, connecting to Earth's defense network. Reports were streaming in about strange occurrences throughout human space. A pilot had executed a maneuver that should have killed him, avoiding Dravik fire. Engineers at Mars Station had suddenly developed shield modifications that were proving remarkably effective against Dravik weapons. It's happening, she whispered. Just like the artifacts suggested, humanity is ... changing. On Earth, Admiral Juno Reeves stared at tactical displays as she coordinated the planet's defenses. At 53, she had decades of military experience, but nothing had prepared her for this. Strange strategies kept occurring to her battle formations and tactical responses. She'd never studied, but somehow knew would work. The Dravik fleet will reach Jupiter space in 18 hours, her executive officer reported. Deploy the fleet. In the Kuiper belt, according to Pattern Omega, she ordered, drawing up a formation that confused her staff, but which she somehow knew was perfect. "Admiral, that leaves our flanks exposed," her tactical officer protested. "No," Juno said with absolute certainty. "It creates the illusion of vulnerability while establishing overlapping fields of fire, precisely where the Dravik will attempt to maneuver." Back on Concordia, Nadia received a secure message from Admiral Reeves requesting information about Dravik tactical patterns. She had never met the Admiral, yet something about the requested data seemed familiar, as if it connected to the patterns she had seen in the artifact. "The dormant abilities are awakening," Tazkar observed, analyzing genetic samples Nadia had taken from herself. "Your stress hormones have triggered changes in gene expression, particularly in areas controlling neural processing." "It's happening too slowly," Nadia said. "If the artifacts are correct, the abilities were designed to activate fully when humanity faces extinction. The Titan attack was horrible, but it hasn't pushed us to that edge yet." Their research was interrupted when Ellerin arrived, his skin pulsing with distress. "The Alliance Council is deadlocked," he reported. "The Dravik have allies who are blocking intervention." Nadia made a decision. "I need to show you both something." She retrieved the artifact fragments they had collected. Humanity wasn't just discovered by the Alliance. We were created by the architects as ... weapons. Ellerin's skin darkened with shock. "Weapons? Or protectors," she amended. "The record isn't clear about the purpose, only that human DNA contains dormant abilities designed to activate when we face extinction." Hesitantly, Ellerin reached for her hand. The moment they touched, his telepathic abilities connected with her mind, allowing him to see the images from the artifact. He gasped, breaking contact. "If the Dravik learn of this, they'll never allow humanity to reach its potential," Tasker finished. "They'll eliminate the threat while they can." Nadia's communication device chirped with a priority message from Earth. Admiral Reeves had deployed the human defense fleet. First contact with Dravik forces was imminent. As 3 species human, Lumidari, and Mavorian watched the tactical display, they witnessed the beginning of a battle that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun, and with it, the awakening of abilities that had slumbered in human DNA for millions of years. The human defense fleet should have been outmatched in every way. The Dravik warships were larger, more heavily armed, and crewed by warriors with centuries of battle experience. Yet as Admiral Reeves' seemingly random formation engaged the enemy near Jupiter's orbit, something extraordinary happened. Human pilots anticipated Dravik maneuvers seconds before they occurred. Weapons officers instinctively targeted vulnerable points that weren't in any tactical database. Engineers made on-the-fly modifications that shouldn't have worked, but somehow created shields impervious to Dravik energy weapons. On Concordia, Nadia, Tazkar, and Ellerin watched the battle data in astonishment. "This defies all tactical logic," Tazkar whispered, all 4 hands manipulating displays to analyze the battle. "The human ships are moving in patterns that create perfect defensive and offensive positions. It's as if they can see the battlefield in ways we can't." Nadia finished. She felt it too looking at the tactical display. She could somehow anticipate how forces would flow, like watching currents in water. The architect enhancements are accelerating. In her private laboratory, converted to a research station for understanding humanity's changing nature, Nadia examined her own DNA. The formerly dormant sections were showing increasing activity. Brain scans revealed neural pathways forming that hadn't existed months earlier. "Your cerebral processing has increased by 27%, Tazkar noted, reviewing her latest scans. "And your reaction time has improved by a similar margin." Nadia demonstrated by catching a stylus Tazkar deliberately knocked off the table, her hand moving with preternatural speed. It's happening to all humans in varying degrees, she said. Those in direct combat situations are showing the most dramatic changes. The laboratory door slid open as Ellerin entered, his skin pulsing with urgency. Without speaking, he extended his hand to Nadia. When their fingers touched, his telepathic abilities conveyed his message instantly. The Dravek had called for an emergency council session, accusing humanity of using prohibited biological weapons. The three hurried to the council chamber, arriving as General Varax presented his case. The humans have engineered their soldiers with illegal genetic enhancements, he growled, pointing accusingly at Nadia. Their sudden tactical abilities prove this violation of Alliance law. Before Nadia could respond, the chamber's main display activated, showing Admiral Reeves. Despite being in the midst of battle, she appeared calm, focused. The Dravek attacked our civilian colony without provocation, she stated. Any changes in human capabilities are not the result of engineering, but of natural defensive responses encoded in our DNA. The council erupted in debate. Sensing an opportunity, Nadia stepped forward. Honorable council members, I can provide evidence supporting Admiral Reeves' statement. She transmitted the data they had gathered from the architect artifacts. Humanity was engineered, but not by humans, by the architects millions of years ago. The abilities now emerging were designed as survival mechanisms against extinction-level threats. As the council reviewed the evidence, Nadia returned to her laboratory with Ellerin and Toskar. The battle continued near Jupiter with human forces, now pushing the Dravek fleet back beyond Saturn's orbit. If the council accepts your evidence, it changes everything, Ellerin said, his skin shifting to thoughtful blues. The architects were revered by most Alliance species. If humans are their creation, we become something more than just newcomers. Nadia finished. We become inheritors. In the privacy of her lab, Ellerin finally asked the question that had been troubling him. Does this change how you see yourself, knowing you were designed? Nadia considered this. Doesn't every species evolve according to some design, whether natural selection or deliberate engineering? What matters is what we choose to do with our capabilities. Their conversation was interrupted when Toskar burst in, all four arms clutching data tablets. The Dravek fleet is regrouping. They're calling in reinforcements from 3 sectors. This isn't just a border skirmish anymore. They're committing to full-scale war. Nadia felt something shift within her mind, tactical possibilities suddenly clarifying. They're afraid. They've realized what's happening, and they're afraid of what humanity might become if these abilities fully awaken. That night, as Concordia's artificial day cycle dimmed to evening, Nadia and Ellerin stood at the viewport in her quarters, watching distant stars. The space between them had narrowed over months of shared purpose and growing affection. Your people stand at a crossroads, Ellerin said softly. The warrior abilities awakening within you could lead humanity down a path of conquest, like the Dravek. Nadia turned to face him. Or they could make us protectors, which I believe was the architects' intention. And what do you intend? He asked, his skin glowing with the soft colors of deep emotion. To ensure we choose the right path, she answered, closing the distance between them as their lips met. Ellerin's telepathic nature created a connection. Unlike anything either had experienced not just physical desire, but a profound sharing of hope for a future where humanity's awakening abilities would serve life rather than destruction. Outside, in the cold void of space, the Dravek Armada gathered for what they intended to be humanity's final battle. Gods of silent thunder, the Dravek Armada materialized at the edge of Earth's solar system 50 warships against humanity's 28 vessels. By any conventional analysis, the outcome was predetermined. Even with their awakening abilities, humans were outgunned and outnumbered on Concordia, the Alliance Council had convened an emergency session. The evidence of humanity's architect origins had created deep divisions among member species. Some saw humans as dangerous weapons that should be contained. Others recognized potential guardians designed by the revered architects. The Council remains deadlocked, Ellerin informed Nadia as they hurried through Concordia's corridors. Without intervention, Earth stands alone against the Dravik. In her laboratory, Tazkar waited with their most significant discovery, yet a complete architect device recovered from the ruins on Proxima Centauri b. Unlike the fragments, this pyramid-shaped object remained fully functional. "It's a key?" Tazkar explained, all four hands carefully adjusting instruments around the device. "The artifacts suggest it can accelerate the awakening process in human DNA. Or complete it," Nadia said quietly. "The question is, should we?" The tactical displays showed Earth's defense fleet adopting another of Admiral Reeves' unconventional formations, this one resembling a three-dimensional web with apparent gaps that made conventional tacticians wince. "We need to trust our nature," Nadia decided, reaching for the pyramid. "Whatever the architects designed us to be, now is when we need to embrace it." As her fingers touched the device, it illuminated with brilliant blue energy. Information flooded her consciousness, not just tactical insights, but a deeper understanding of humanity's purpose. The architects had created many guardian species throughout the galaxy, each designed with different strengths. Humans were engineered for adaptation and innovation, with cognitive abilities that could evolve rapidly in response to threats. The pyramid sent a signal undetectable to Alliance sensors, but resonating with the dormant sections of human DNA throughout the solar system. On Earth's defense vessels, crews experienced a moment of collective clarity, not losing individuality, but gaining shared purpose and understanding. Admiral Reeves felt it most strongly. The seemingly random tactics she had been instinctively employing suddenly made perfect sense, not as conventional military strategy, but as a complex, multidimensional approach to space combat that accounted for factors no tactical computer could process. The battle began with the Dravik launching a standard, overwhelming assault. What they encountered defied explanation. Human ships moved in perfect coordination, sometimes separating to create apparent vulnerabilities, then converging with precision to trap Dravik vessels in devastating crossfires. When the Dravik adapted, human tactics shifted instantly to counter. It wasn't merely reactive. The humans seemed to anticipate strategies the Dravik commanders hadn't yet implemented. On Concordia, the council chamber watched in stunned silence. General Varax's reptilian features contorted with rage and disbelief. As his species' vaunted military prowess crumbled against an enemy they had dismissed as weak. "What are we witnessing?" High Chancellor Myra asked, her insectoid mandibles clicking with agitation. "The awakening of the architect's final gift to the galaxy," Nadia answered, entering the chamber with Ellerin and Tazkar. Humanity was designed as adaptive guardians, not conquerors like the Dravik, but protectors capable of meeting any threat through innovation and cognitive evolution. She presented the complete findings from the architect ruins showing how humans had been seeded on Earth, their warrior abilities deliberately suppressed until needed, designed to awaken only in response to existential threats. "The architects didn't create weapons," she explained. "They created guardians who could stand against any force that threatened galactic stability, guardians who would only access their full potential when facing annihilation." The battle concluded in 4 hours. The Dravik armada retreated in disarray, having lost 17 vessels, while the human fleet lost only 3. It was a victory that would reshape galactic politics for centuries to come. In the aftermath, Nadia stood with Ellerin on an observation deck, watching Earth's fleet return to defensive positions. His hand found hers, their fingers intertwining, as his telepathic abilities created that special connection between them. Your people will never be seen the same way again, he said softly. Some will fear you, others will seek your protection. And the council? She asked. They voted to recognize humanity's status as architect inheritors, he replied. It grants your species certain privileges and responsibilities. Nadia watched as repair ships tended to damaged vessels. Despite their awakened abilities, humans remained vulnerable, still learning to understand their nature and purpose. The architects created us with these capabilities, she said, but they left the choice of how to use them to us. That's the real test, not whether we can win battles, but whether we can prevent them. Ellorin's skin shifted to colors reflecting deep affection. A test I believe humanity will pass, especially with guides like you. Their lips met in a kiss that bridged species and cultures, a symbol of the connection possible between different worlds. As a representative of humanity and now an inheritor of the architect's legacy, Nadia knew the path forward would be challenging. Earth would need to balance its newly awakened abilities with wisdom and restraint. The silent gods of war might wear human faces, but they need not bring only destruction. In the right hands, even the power to destroy could be transformed into a strength to protect, to build, to unite. As the stars shone around them, Nadia and Ellorin's entwined hands represented hope that humanity's awakening would lead not to domination, but to a new era of peace maintained by guardians who understood the true cost of war and the true value of connection.